Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
I don't know if this has happened in any American city. And I don't say this lightly, but if the latest report is accurate, the First Lady of New York City has opened herself up to being an Islamic terrorist supporter. Dominic Carter here with you. We have a lot to chew on this hour. The number to reach us live right now, coast to coast, 800-848-9222. The headline at this hour online in the New York Post is, and I am quoting, "Devil's Advocate," with a photo of the First Lady of New York City. Devil's Advocate, again, with the photo of the First Lady of New York City. And if you go to my Instagram, I've pinned it to the top of my Twitter to make it easy for you to find it, at Dominic TV. You'll see where I said days ago, and I am quoting verbatim myself, "They kept her away during the campaign." This is the title of the Instagram post from myself. It's almost 700,000 hits on it. "They kept her away during the campaign. This is just the beginning of what we're going to find out." I don't want to say I told you so, but you can look at the lady and tell that she's anti-American. The First Lady of New York City. You can look at her face and tell that she's anti-American. So the mayor's wife, and I don't know if we've ever faced this situation in an American city before. The mayor's wife, if this report is accurate, actually celebrated Palestinian terrorists in a flurry of resurfaced social media posts that she made as a teenager and in her early 20s. This is according to a shocking new report. The Big Apple's First Lady, already under fire for her troubled past in terms of social media activity, apparently used her Tumblr account to praise Palestinian plane hijackers and other members of the terror group Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, according to posts reviewed by the Washington Free Beacon. So the now First Lady, apparently, based on these reports, used her now inactive account while she was living in the Middle East, according to the Beacon, which linked the post to her, in part using facial recognition technology. So another bombshell at this hour. I mean, the mayor has said that his wife is the love of his life. She's a private citizen. I told you, folks. I told you during the campaign. Oh, my wife is not invited. No. He knew. He knew her past. And what it sounds like to me, and I'm only speculating here, is he said, "Baby, you got to take this stuff down." And I'm speculating, and she said, "I will not." So he had to distance her, his own wife, from the campaign. And now that he's mayor for the next 3 years and 7 months, he says, "My wife is a private citizen. She's a private citizen." Despicable posts that are coming forth from a now account of the First Lady, according to these reports, inactive account now from Tumblr. The headline in the New York Post this morning is "Devil's Advocate," talking about the mayor of New York City, his wife, the first Muslim American mayor of New York City. I don't see how he finishes his tenure. I don't see it. Remember my prediction. We're going to look up, and the FBI is going to be investigating something from him. about him, and he's going to be forced to step down. There is no way an American city can continue like this, the biggest city in the country, with a leader like this and a wife like that. In terms of and frankly, she should be deported. The first lady of New York City that has a full police detail, she should be deported. You hate America this much, it's time for you to go. But when you're talking about accountability, target number one has to be Minnesota. Minnesota. Remember Minnesota, the corruption? Minnesota. Remember that? Remember the YouTube journalist Nick Shirley? Well, look out, New York and California. Listen to Nick Shirley in Cali, what he's already found.
Here in Van Nuys, California, massive fraud is taking place with hospice. For instance, this location, Miracle Healing Hospice, billed over $1.3 million. Medicare paid them $966,000. Something interesting about this location. If you come right here to Miracle Healing Hospice, and if you want to knock on the door, nobody's going to answer because nobody's actually inside. And so this right here is a prime example of the millions that eventually accumulate to billions of dollars of fraud taking place here inside of California with these things like hospice, home health care, adult day health care as well. And something interesting about this location, these are all hospices. All of these are hospices. But what's super interesting about this is if you take a look at the parking lot, the cars that are in here, you have a Cybertruck, you have a brand new BMW. Over there you have 3 really nice cars, a BMW, Mercedes, and a Mercedes. And these locations are billing millions of dollars. For instance, Guardian of Angels Hospice and Blossom Hospice, they're also here. They've actually fled the location. They billed $4.8 million and $3.4 million. Massive fraud taking place here inside the state of California.
So that's California that Nick Shirley's looking at, just scratching the surface. Wait until he gets to New York. But again, our top story this morning, Mom Donnie. And yes, the mayor of New York City and his wife, the headline in the New York Post is referring to her, is calling her the devil's advocate. This is not going to make it. It's not going to work. Mom, I don't see, if these headlines continue and we're just scratching the surface, we don't even know what else is in her background, right? He says she's the love of his life, so I don't see a 34-year-old divorcing his wife. She is a political liability that has to go. And how I define has to go, meaning that he's got to find a way to separate himself. Something has to give with this situation. Let's start with your telephone calls. Line 2, Jay in New Jersey. Jay, welcome to the Dominic Carter Show.
Hey, Dominic. I think that the time that we're talking about the First Lady, it's all a distraction, because the truth of the matter is that every second we're talking about the First Lady, we're not talking about the mayor. And the mayor's old tweets are the real issue. Him calling for the statue of Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, but that's old, Jay. That's before he was the mayor. So it's relevant, but it's not as relevant or as reckless. It does matter because the mayor could say wait a minute, don't talk over me. The mayor could say the people of New York City knew about this before they went to the polls, which is accurate. Now I'll shut up and you have your say.
Yeah, well, he said that, and the truth is that New Yorkers did choose it. When we speak about the First Lady incessantly, I think that what she did pales in comparison to what he did. So if New Yorkers are okay with it, that's their prerogative. But people have to keep hearing about how
Jay, you're not making much sense. Her social media activities are just coming out now as she's the First Lady. And you can't equate. It's disgusting what he posted about the Christopher Columbus statue before the election, but you can't compare that to her sympathizing with people that drove the planes into the World Trade Center. There's no comparison. Thank you for the call. Let's see here. Let's go to David in New Rochelle, line 3. David, what's on your mind? David, 1, 2. Okay, David, you got to be with me. Go ahead, please.
I'm here. Maybe they can read. Can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
Go after Madami's wife and get her connected with some illegal fundraising, arrest her, and put her in jail. Get it over.
She didn't raise any money for the campaign.
Saying,
David, you got to make sense.
No, I'm saying you got to check carefully. There must be some connection somewhere. She leaves a trail.
If the first lady, if the candidate's wife was not involved with the campaign, how are you going to get her for fundraising?
Who's the expert that says she has no connection? That's like saying that Madani, he says he has no connection and protects his wife. Who knows what these two speak about? You were talking always about Madani. We're going to go after the fundraising, where'd the money come from. I guarantee she's connected.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Others said that.
Somebody said that.
And I said it was a waste of time, that it was not going to stop him from becoming mayor.
No. He is mayor. So now find it something illegal, some illegal connection
connected
with
to
the fundraiser.
him. Even if you find, let's say you found the wife did something illegal. That doesn't remove him as mayor.
No. I'm saying go after Mandami, find out whether he has a connection with illegal funds. And I'm saying to you, he's probably, because it's his wife and they both have the same philosophy, the hatred to Jews and hate to others. There's going to be a connection somewhere. How can you be married to somebody and sleep with them and not have a connection? They talk 24/7 a day. They're married.
That's true.
She's a vehement
that's true.
Muslim. There's got to be a connection. They're not dead at night. They're yapping their brains out. They have all these connections in the Middle East. There is a connection. If somebody does a forensic work, to get the top pros to go in there, go through the electronic, the internet, they'll find something. If they put the time and the patience, they'll find it and they'll nail them both.
You are correct about that, David, and thank you for the call. It may come down to that. Folks, this can't continue. We're in uncharted territory. We have a first lady of New York City that appears to hate Americans and totally sympathize with 9/11 attackers. If these reports are accurate, and we don't know if they are, but they are out there. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we are back. We are talking about Mamdani. Hey, Matt Blaze, here's what I want you to think about. I wanted to marinate inside you. We're in uncharted territory. We have a first lady. Apparently, if you are to believe these reports, these latest reports, it's like a steady drumbeat. And again, I told you folks this during the campaign, and as recent as days ago. Look at my Instagram where the headline is, where they quote me as stating they kept her away during the campaign. This is just the beginning of what we're going to find out. And at this hour, Matt Blaze, and stand by, I'm coming to you in just 1 second. I want to get in some of the callers, but I'm going to come to you at the bottom of the hour because I want you to think about this, Matt. The New York Post at this hour is referring to the First Lady of New York City as the devil's advocate. This cannot continue. We are very close to uncharted territory. What's going to happen? The FBI is going to be forced to find something to get rid of Mamdani. He has got to go. Him and his wife. Let's go to David, line 2, Staten Island. David, what's on your mind?
Dominic, if you look at the votes for the mayor, the Democrats and Islam are working together to be able to change
Wait,
this
wait, wait, wait,
city.
wait, wait. You're slurring your words. You said
There's a lot
Democrats
more
and wait,
going
wait a
on in
minute.
here.
Wait a minute. You said Democrats and what?
And Islam, they're moving in. I have
Oh,
about
come on.
3
But
places on Staten
you
Island
can't
already.
say, you can't, David, come on. You can't say they're working together. Do you have any
I
evidence
have
of that?
a paper. Excuse me.
Do you have any evidence of that?
Yes.
Okay, what's the evidence you
Walk
have?
around, ride around and see how Staten Island changed.
Okay,
Since
that's
bridge
no
has been
evidence.
up.
That's no evidence.
Yes,
That's no
it is
evidence at all.
evidence.
Thank
I
you
was
for the
born
call.
here.
Let's go to Silas, line 4, Staten Island. Silas, what's on your mind?
Yeah, the main thing is we've got to get Bruce Blakeman in there because Mandami owns Hochul, and she'll do whatever he says. If we get smart enough to get Blakeman in there, he will be a stopgap because you could get his wife on murder, convicted, and put in jail. That still won't replace him as mayor.
Correct.
He'll be mayor no matter what his wife has done.
Correct.
So the only stopgap we have for right now is to get Bruce Blakeman in there, and everybody better get it together. I've got a dozen different things to prosper New York City, but Mandami wouldn't do one of them, like doubling the capacity at Rikers Island.
No. That's not going to
street.
happen. I wouldn't even waste my breath discussing that. He already has a
course, they
person.
wouldn't do
He
it.
already has a person appointed to look at closing Rikers. So that's not going to happen. I don't even want to waste time discussing it. What do you make, Silas, if these reports are accurate, that she praised on a now Tumblr account that's no longer active 9/11 terrorist that flew the plane? What do you make of that? Let's talk about something that's relevant.
Well, she's always felt this way in her heart. I think they both hate America, but I think she's actually worse than him as far as her hatred for America. That's how they got together. But right now we're stuck with him as mayor.
You might be onto something there. They say they met, I think, online. Nobody believes that. DMS, the lovely
please.
DMS says, "Have we reached the breaking point yet?" And she's quoting from the New York Post article. Bombshell announcement tonight. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Baseball is back, and the first pitch is on Netflix. The New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the San Francisco Bay to take on Rafael Devers' San Francisco Giants. This season kicks off with one exclusive opening night game. Watch MLB Opening Night, the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants, live on Netflix. Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
now. From New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And at this hour, we are discussing Mamdani. And we are in uncharted territory. I don't think this has ever happened in an American city where you have a first lady based on the very latest published reports. No, I'm not talking about last week. The very latest published reports. No, I'm not talking about the next day after. I'm talking about right now, this hour. Not an editorial. The lead item of the New York Post is referring to the mayor of New York City, his wife, as, quote, the devil's advocate. Again, not an editorial, the lead news item. They're quoting reports that have pulled up an old Tumblr account when she lived in the Middle East, apparently, and was a teenager in her early 20s. She's still young. In which she's praising the 9/11 attackers, one of the attackers that flew one of the planes. This is now the First Lady of New York City. And Mamdani still hasn't denounced one thing that she has said. With me right now, Matt Blaze. Matt.
Yes.
Again, we're in uncharted territory. What is going on here?
Dominic, this is what the people of New York voted for. They didn't listen. They didn't want to listen. They heard free. They saw young guy with the smile, with the social media campaign. They said, we don't want no old men that were running. We want the young guy who promises everything to us. That's who we want. And that's what we're getting. Now, these people, they don't care. They don't care what his wife said. They don't even if he said it, they wouldn't care. Think about this, Dominic. Who did Mamdani just have over at Gracie Mansion?
Mahmoud Khalil.
Exactly.
The guy, you're right, the guy, a 9/11 terrorist sympathizer
exactly.
who led all the protests at Columbia University.
That is correct. So you think those people care about what she said, even if it was yesterday? Even if Zoran Mamdani himself said that? He had this guy over.
But they're much bigger. You're correct. But
he's also had relationships with people who said 9/11, we deserved it. So there should be no
issues.
Right.
There are bigger issues. He can't get a national security clearance with his wife articulating views like this. There is no way that he can get national security briefings.
Well, as he's been saying, or as what it's going to be claimed is that that's his wife, it's not him. So the thinking is going to be, well, it's national security briefings, let's say, right? Would the wife be in briefing meetings? Would the wife, people like to say, well, yeah, like was just brought up, well, it's his wife. You tell everything to your wife. But when you're in a power of leadership, you can't tell everything to your wife.
Yes, you do.
But
even though you deny it publicly, you pillow talk.
Right.
She make you feel good that night, you're going to start talking.
Of course. But then that's not going to be the reason that he can't get briefings, because they're going to say, he's going to say, well, I don't tell my wife that. I can't tell my wife that. Like you just said, what we don't know and happens, like between the lines, we know that goes on, but they're never going to admit to that. No one's ever going to admit to that. And I think what David the caller said is if you search hard enough, you'll find something. And he's probably right.
I don't even think we're scratching the surface yet as far as his wife. I'm sorry to say this. The lady looks evil. She looks like, don't laugh at me, Matt Blaze, because I got a bone to pick with you and Liz in Florida. And you know what, my bone? We got all these phone calls. We're going to get to them, from Viviana to Jane to Norman to Jerry to Tony. The bone I have to pick with you and Liz in Florida, trying to listen to you two. Oh, you got to be healthy. You got to be healthy. You got to be healthy. So I went back to started taking vitamins, right? And I didn't realize it when I paid, $70 or $50 for these vitamins from the health store, right? These are these hard, don't laugh, these are these hard, big pills. So I took the pill a few hours ago. Remember, you and I talk for a living, and the pill gets stuck in my throat. And no matter how much water I drink, Matt Blaze, don't laugh at me, you and Liz, I can't get this thing to go down. So now, 20 minutes before air, I'm looking online what to do when a pill is stuck in your throat, and it's telling me drink more water and eat some bread to push it down. So now, 10 minutes before air this morning, I'm eating a slice of bread that I don't like because I can't have white bread. I'm not supposed to have wheat bread. I got to have this special Dave's Killer bread, and I can't even have a full slice. I got to have it's like cut in half. So I'm swallowing that, but it did work. The pill went down. But listening to you and Liz in Florida.
Well, I got a bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
Because I just happened to hear, and if you haven't heard this, I'm telling people right now, you got to go listen to the Dominic Carter 3 p.m. show from yesterday, meaning the 18th.
Okay.
Because what I heard, Dominic, is that you're joining the Mickey Mouse Club with Liz in Florida. Because I heard a sing-along going on constantly for half the show. So you got to go listen to the 3 p.m. Dominic Carter show to hear the singing.
Well, but it resonated. Liz sung, and like 3 or 4 other people did the theme from Mickey Mouse.
I did hear that.
You know?
And I think you should do that every day.
Oh, boy. Every day. Well, you know.
You start the show every day. Or like at the end of the show. Like the Mickey Mouse Club used to do it at the end of the show.
Listening to you and Liz, I'm taking these horse vitamins, and it got stuck in my throat. Don't laugh. 15 minutes before air. And then I'm Googling, what do you do? So I run to get a piece of bread to throw it down, but it is what it is.
Got to drink water.
The water didn't get it to go down. It didn't get it to go down. I need one of those soft vitamins, like the soft. I can't do this rock hard big pill thing.
You need like the pink baby aspirin that we used to take.
Oh, you got jokes, Matt Blaze, as you laugh away. Let's get back to some of these telephone calls. Let's go to Jane in Brooklyn, line 4. Jane, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic. Thank you for taking my call, and I just absolutely love listening to you and your enthusiasm. I do have a question for you. I want to get your opinion. Everything that's going on with Mamdani currently, we knew about. Everything that's going on is why wasn't the investigation with the FBI, with the police department, why wasn't this all looked into before he went into office? All this information has been out there.
Right, but now they don't have anything on him even as of right now, Jane. Because I think it was Matt who wanted to call. Even if the wife did something criminal,
I agreed with Matt, yeah.
That's not grounds to remove him as mayor. The FBI is going to have to find something big with that apartment in which he appeared to have lied and qualified for rent-stabilized apartment, even though his income was too much. But that's small potatoes. You need something big.
What about like the funding that came into his campaign, and what about the college lying on the college application?
Well, the college application claiming that he was black, that's not grounds for him to be dismissed as mayor of New York City. And on the campaign fundraising, what always happens is when it goes left, they blame the treasurer. And if anybody goes to jail, it's the treasurer. It's not the candidate. So there's a reason, Jane, why we're playing Jay-Z's song Big Pimpin'. Every time I say Mamdani, there's a reason why we're doing that, because there's a message in that. He's slicker than slick, just like any other politician, and he's learned the game. And check out the game that he's running, because it appears that he has the same views that his wife does, but like I said, good cop, bad cop. She jumps out the window with all the nonsense, and he goes, she's a private citizen. Are you repulsed, Jane, before I move on, by the revelations of what we're finding out about this mayor?
Extremely. And I almost feel like something bad has to happen in order for it to come to light, because he's 95% there. Everything is right there, but we have to wait for something to really drastically happen, and that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for the call. I don't, and folks, let me do it now. 1001, 1002, 1003. There is a reason why Mamdani is the mayor and not Cuomo. Mamdani had a lead blocker clearing the way for him this entire campaign. This is why we're in this mess. So the next time when you want to wish upon a star candidate, 1001, 1002, 1003, don't play with the election. Oh, it's just a joke. Let him run on the Republican line. Let him run. Let him run. We love him. We love him. He should be mayor. Well, look at us now. We've got Mom Donnie. And so you hear Jay-Z say big pimpin'. Big pimpin'. That's the definition of this mayor. Norman, line 3 in Brooklyn. Norman, what's on your mind?
MICKEYRATTT. Anyway, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mom Donnie ain't going anywhere until the legacy media decides to get rid of him. And they're not. And yes, I know the Post is going to, they're whatever. Forget it. This city loves him. They just love him. And, I just, there's nothing, I don't know. It's just, I think we're going to have to leave. I don't know. I mean, that's what I think it's coming down to. Because I don't see him leaving.
Well, that's interesting, and you may be onto something, and maybe that's why he walks around like he's on cloud 9. Thank you for that great call, Norman. Let's go to Sherman, line 4, Manhattan. Sherman, what's going on?
I want to say this, listening to Norman, I mean, I appreciate whenever he calls in, but kind of reminded me of that Godfather scene where the Godfather says, "You can act like a man." I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to let some 30-something-year-old guy, who used to be in a food truck trying to rap, put me in a position where I even think about leaving somewhere. There was the old saying, we should have the mentality and he should have the mentality that he's stuck here with us. We ain't stuck here with him. See, these people know that there are a lot of people like Norm who think like Norm. Respectfully, and again, I say this with all due respect, I always want to have the big grown man pants conversation. It's the perfect show. White folks have to basically start acting more assertive about the things that are bothering them. They got to get out in the streets too, because people like Mondami know that mostly white Americans are not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything because they're afraid of the R word. Like Superman was afraid of kryptonite. White people are afraid to be called racist. They're paralyzed by that. So they don't do a lot of things that they should be saying and doing. There should be mass protests out in the street, okay? It should already be happening. People should be, having organizations that have people bust in to be outside the mayor's mansion. This is so absurd that we're calling in, clutching our pearls, so to speak, on the phone. I mean, I say this with all due respect. Some 30-something-year-old guy whose wife seems to have a thing for young terrorists or young guys who, praise, the destruction of Israel. These two people I'm supposed to be afraid of? Sorry, that's absurd. That's laughable to me. It's not about fear. It's about being righteously angry, reasonably, extremely effing upset that we're in a place where this guy, he's got the smirk of a cat that ate 5 mice. Okay, I know these I see him coming a block away. Okay, and it is only like this because also that guy with the red beret on, who used to work on the show, who used to always use this absurd, strange lingo and street lingo from the 80s, who had a wife at the time in a serious relationship with didn't even know her age. Okay, and this guy was running for mayor, and people would call in arguing with you because they really thought, mostly white people, that this guy could win. He had no experience in the political arena. He would definitely be a better mayor than Mondami, but he was delusional. He was extremely grandiose. He had he's an Aries, so they have a serious subconscious and conscious. They're prone to war and beef and strife. It's in his blood. Okay, so he'd rather have a fight or argument with his enemy Cuomo than be rational and focus on Mondami. This is the guy who people were calling in thinking he could win. The guy who didn't know his wife's age, who was living with, a woman who didn't know her age, right? So that means she's running the show. And he is thinking he could win when he didn't win the last 2 times. And people were calling your show all the time arguing with you about how he could possibly win. So these people, they're listening now. I like to say, you people are, if I saw you in the street and I knew who you are, I'd throw a warm tomato in your face for thinking that courtesy was the win.
I hear you, Sherman, and thank you for the call. I'm just going to say 1001, 1002, and I've got to take a break. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
We are dealing with another serious situation as it relates to the mayor's wife. We're in uncharted territory. Yet another story, this time the headline in the Post right now, not on the editorial page, the lead story is referring to the mayor's wife as, quote, the devil's advocate. And it's based on apparently some comments that she made supporting one of the people that flew the aircraft on 9/11. It's on a Tumblr thing that she did when she was late teens, early 20s. And this is an outright mess. Robert, line 4, Brooklyn. What's on your mind, Robert?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Well, first of all, in terms of the vitamins, I always like to take soft gels because I also don't feel comfortable taking these hard, big pills.
Now
sometimes
you tell
there's an option. Sometimes there's an option. I take the pill, I grind it up, and put it in applesauce. So if you already bought them, if you pound it and grind it and put it in applesauce.
I'm not supposed to eat applesauce. I'm listening to Blaze and Liz in Florida, and 10 minutes before air, they had a big pill choking me in my throat. Go ahead, Robert.
In terms of Sherman, I totally agree with the great Sherman. 100% right. It's time these people they think they could just have wild protests about from the river to the sea. They want to genocide the Jewish people. Well, how about we have protests? I don't necessarily agree with Jake Lang, but whatever you say about Jake Lang, as disgusting as he is, he was protesting. He was exercising his First Amendment rights. And like I said, I don't agree with him, but he did exercise. We should exercise our First Amendment rights. They're very intolerant when other people exercise their First Amendment rights. So, Sherman has a great point that we have to start fighting back. We can't just run. And I know we're very scared because of the estate tax. He wants to now take everyone's money, that generational wealth. He doesn't want families to pass it on to their children. Well, it hasn't been approved yet by the New York State court, and that's one of the reasons I switched from Republican to Democrat to be able to vote in the Democrat primary. That we don't want to get these extreme Democrats to win the primary. So Sherman is right. We can't just back down, and we can't let the R word, the racist word, intimidate us from standing up for my rights.
I hear you. I got to try and get in one more call before the end of the show. Let's go to Dave, line 3 in Manhattan. Dave, you've got 25 seconds. Go ahead.
This is not uncharted territory. 2008, Michelle Obama told the Milwaukee audience, for the first time in my adult life, I am really proud of my country.
Wait a minute. Are you out of your mind? It's despicable what Michelle Obama said. You're comparing that to what this First Lady is doing. It's apples and oranges.
You just said it's despicable. You just proved my point.
Right?
They don't have to be exactly the same.
Okay, I'm not cut him off. I'm not going to argue with you. Your point is ridiculous. You're comparing the despicable things that the angry woman Michelle Obama said, and I agree, she's an angry sister, but you're comparing that to what this woman is doing now, the First Lady of the city, in terms of supporting people that bombed America? They're not the same. Give me a break. I'm back at 3 p.m. Eastern, folks.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?